monthly meeting of the Conover Planning Board to order. First item of agenda is the approval of the minutes. I trust everyone got them online.
Yes.
Are there any corrections or additions to minutes? Perhaps for a motion that they be approved as read. Mr. Bill makes the motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Tillman, that the motions, that the minutes be approved as read. There is no old business this month, and we do have my quorum. I didn't need to check that. Looking at the new business, our first item of business is an amendment for Walmart at 201 Zelkova Court Northwest, a conditional district R, and it's 21-03. Mr. Guys, if you will take the floor, please.
Thank you, and we have Billy Otten here with Sunbelt Rentals. He'll be willing to answer questions or speak to the issue too, but Walmart was approved quite a few years ago as a conditional district, right? Conditional zoning, conditional district, covers the whole site. So when we make an amendment or add something to the site plan, you all review it and it goes to council for a final consideration, and approval. So it does include the whole parcel because the whole parcel is under that conditional district, okay? So that's why we have the whole site shown here, and we're really just doing one small area. Eric pointed it out there, proposed building site. It's about 700 square feet of basically outdoor storage for large equipment. And what Sunbelt does and would like to do on this property is offer to the public rentals of equipment from the store itself, but there's the need for some outdoor storage for the things you can't put in the store, like chillers and maybe lawnmowers, other equipment. So even though it's sort of what the staff would consider to be a minor amendment to the plan, this plan was master plan and approved through a public process in city council. So this is why it's in front of you today. We included a couple of different things in your package, which included the Exhibit B, which is the standards to be added to the site plan, along with all the other issues that have already been approved for Walmart, the placement of building signage and those kinds of things. And then the next slide, Exhibit C, is, let's see, here. This is showing where on the site this proposed unit would go. It would take up about 6 parking spaces. They will use, it's kind of behind that island, place right about here. So it's going to be right there. This is the front of the store, of course, and you have Northern Drive coming this way, and they'll go off the photo there. But it's kind of like placed well where it'll be one-way flow of traffic. So if they make a rental in the store, the staff member will come out and meet the car, and the car will come around, pick up their equipment, and kind of travel out this way in a circular fashion. Almost like what they do for gardening and the garden supplies. 6 spaces would be taken, and there's what's proposed is 2 Connex-style container that will be permanently fastened to the ground, painted to be a color similar to the Walmart structure itself, which means tan. And then that kind of a grill space in the middle with a small roof heater. That's what would be proposed here. These are the 2 Connex containers. There's kind of grill work and a gate. The space is always locked. Nothing's ever stored outside. Everything's kind of inside that gated area or in those Connex containers themselves. They are also asking, as part of this condition, to have a sign approved, and we have that in this image here. This is the main entrance, the central entrance to the Walmart, I believe, and this would be just to the right of it. It's about, a little smaller than 5 by 5. And that would be in addition to all the other signage that Walmart is going to keep. They have a couple of different pieces there. Over the years, we've had a few small adjustments to that signage program, which was approved by City Council originally. So this would just be another additional piece to that. And what staff is asking and working with the Walmart leadership is for what we're calling Exhibit E, just some improvement in the parking area. Mostly, not really the striping itself. This image is a little dark, but it's just areas where there's crosswalks meant for pedestrian movement. We like to have those improved. There's a few couple locations here, something here. Maybe some stop bars are a little bit faded out. And so there's some of these circles kind of got off their little target here, but kind of right here, there's a crosswalk. In front of the store, there's a couple of main pedestrian areas where people cross to get to the store. We like to have that repainted. So I did talk to the store manager this week, and she said, yeah, this is sort of, for them, it's sort of normal maintenance. And she had noticed it even herself earlier this year that it's a little faded. She'd like some work done on that. So we're going to try to coordinate, get that work done along with this improvement to the site, and maybe try to be reasonable with her normal scheduling. It might take a few months to get that scheduled, but she's going to work on it. And I think we would make it a condition of approval that we kind of just do a little facility upgrade here. I don't want to really delay their process in the sense of opening up, since it's so simple what they have to do, but we can make a little improvement to the site for the betterment of all the visitors, pedestrians, shoppers, to the site. So I can answer any questions for you if you have anything for this amendment to the Walmart approval.
That image there means that the rental building will be on the lower left-hand corner there?
Yes, sir. Over lower left. Yep. Just off that map.
And Sunbelt and Walmart, it's a partnership or is Sunbelt part of Walmart?
It's a partnership.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're actually leasing, you know how when you go out there's a pretzel place or
Sure.
hairdresser or what, we're literally, Walmart's asked us if we could go into 500 locations around the country. So we're putting,
Congratulations.
oh, thank you. We're the, if you don't know really much about Sunbelt, we're the second largest tool rental company in the world. We have 950 of our large locations, like we have, I think, one or two here in Hickory. We're based out of Fort Mill. Well, we started out of Charlotte and moved across the line to Fort Mill. So we're a local company that's now, we're in 47 states, and we have a branch in Europe and England, and we're also getting pretty large up in Canada as well. But we were in front of Lowe's for 19 years, different parts of the country, and Lowe's didn't renew our contract, and they're starting their own. So Walmart came to us and said, look, would you be willing to go in here? So we're not, it's kind of like I was talking to Alan. I hope Walmart comes in and does all this, but we're not affiliated. We're basically a pretzel shop in the mall. And, so I hate that, it may take them 2 months to paint the stripes in their parking lot because we're a totally separate company. And if we can't get in that spot, we're doing tillers, aerators, side cutters, walk behind blowers, anything that you could use in your lawn and garden. But that window is so small. I live in Columbus, Ohio, so we still got 2 months before we're planting anything. But here, now's the time to start aerating and doing a lot of that stuff. So we would hope we could get our facilities put in place with, without the Walmart being, their task being completed. So if that makes sense, guys.
Now, you mentioned the short window. Will you be open, will that facility be open year round
Yes, sir.
for different?
Because we might not be renting aerators in the winter, but we'll have the, pull behind heaters, we'll flip that for winter type items that contractors are, homeowners use, kerosene heaters and.
We're still in household regulars.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Very good, thank
Yes, sir.
I believe their shop is already open in the Walmart.
Yes, sir. We've been in there for about a month now, maybe a month and a half.
What went out? Something went out in that store, right? What was that use before.
Arcade.
Oh, that was arcade.
On arcade.
Sure was it was called GameStop.
Oh, okay. So, you know, I had a good conversation with the store manager, and of course, you know, when we're kind of focusing in on a new proposal, of course, we're gonna visit the site and notice things, so we're not trying to hold these folks up or really delay, but we would like to get that site a little bit cleaned up. And landscaping's looking pretty good, most of the signage was okay, it's just some of that, just wear and tear on the site. So, but with your support or recommendation, I would share the same information with city council that we, you know, don't really want to delay or stick to them. I'm not trying to do that. We're just trying to keep the site up a little bit better.
Give them a target.
Yeah, we will target work on it. It would be a reasonable time frame. Not like it all happen
at one time.
It's right. So we should officially open a public hearing, but we could, obviously, Mr. Houghton is our public, so, he's spoken, and then if there's any other questions, I'll be happy to answer.
All right, at this time, to make it official for the record, we'll open up the public hearing, ask if there are any questions, comments from the floor. Anything else, Billy? Okay.
Gotcha.
Hearing none, then I'll at this time close the public hearing, and we'll proceed with any discussion by members of the board. Do I hear a motion for or against this recommendation from staff?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, do you mind reading the motion as presented?
Move to approve rezoning request R21-03 for 201 Zell Court Northwest to amend the site plan for the CC-CD district and find that the request is reasonable and is in the public interest because the land development plan recommends maintaining a strong commercial base to serve the needs of the residents of Conover.
And that motion is by Mr. Timmerman. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Keesler. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Let the record show motion carried. Thank you for.
Thank you. This will proceed to city council on May 3rd in this room, May 3rd.
Okay.
And,
Second item of business
Around the rest
is
of
the
the
zoning
meeting.
code amendment CA 21-03 for 160D changes to respond to
Yes, sir.
changes in the state statute,
your items on-
Appendix A, section on definition, and Appendix B, subdivision process. Lines?
Thank you.
First,
And we have a couple of hard copies in case somebody didn't get a chance to get all that.
I'll come back to that.
That was a lot of reading.
Yes.
Took my lunch
I did
out.
not print, but I've got it on you somewhere.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was not the most riveting read ever.
Well, I'll tell you
No
what,
offense.
yeah, I understand. Listen, what happened at council last night was that they pushed me off of my regular spot and put me right at the very end. So everyone else got to go first and they stuck me for last.
They took the other one. Is it because you wrote so much on this one?
Did you say that this was not the most riveting read?
It was not the most riveting read, sorry.
Well, we're getting through it and I appreciate all your patience with it. The first section that we shared with you all was definitions. And so we're taking definitions from the subdivision section, pulling it into the front of the ordinance and kind of using them for both sections. And we also included some that the state is basically saying you've got to include this in your definitions because this is what we have to do. So we had a whole section on definitions. I don't know if anyone had any questions about it. Eric, was there anything that you thought you wanted to point out from a definition standpoint?
I'll just say that, what Alan said is we had two separate sets of definitions, one in the zoning portion and one in the subdivision portion, which were both created as separate subdivisions at some time in the past. We had overlapping definitions. So we have two different definitions for the same word in at least one case, so they conflicted. And Alan suggested, and our city attorney agreed, that we could put all the definitions into one place. So you've got the original definitions from zoning and modified or altered, whatever of those needed to be done, added those from the subdivision section that needed to be done, and then went through the 160D definitions and added those that we felt were necessary. So it's from three different places.
So they're all in one spot now. We'll have a consistent set of definitions. They won't disagree with one another, or they'll all be consistent. That will help. I did want to point one out. So a legislative decision, okay? And this came from state.
What section was that in?
It's gonna be under, it's under the definition section in alphabetical order, legislative decision. So that's a process that we go through, that you will actually go through too. You're part of a legislative decision. Because when council makes law or new zoning or new ordinances like this, it's a legislative action. So a legislative decision is the adoption, the amendment, or appeal of a regulation under this chapter, an amendment to the official zoning map, or an applicable local act by the city council. It says the term also includes the decisions to approve, amend, or rescind a development agreement consistent with the provisions of this chapter. So kind of what we worked on with Walmart is kind of a developer's agreement, right? We're making an agreement with them for development and things like that. And so any kind of code changes like we're reviewing, it's legislative. So you have a part in that. That's mostly what we use. And the rest of the other section, the second half of this is all about subdivision. And so the state says basically you can review a subdivision kind of any way you want. You can let staff do it all, or you can let city council do it all. So we kind of have a hybrid, and we're recommending a hybrid to be taken forward, is that any subdivision is like a final set of plans. Okay, there's no middle ground. We call something a preliminary plat, but it is fully engineered. So the water lines, the sewer lines, streets, they're all designed, engineered, and so it's not like it's partial plans or anything like that. It's final plans, really. But the process has been where we take a preliminary plat to the site plan committee. It comes here for review, and then it goes on to city council. And that allows us to file with the register of deeds a preliminary plat. Well, when that is filed, the developer can go and build the roads, do all the infrastructure, they have permission to do that, and we have an agreement with them to kind of, this is how it's gonna lay out, this is what we're gonna end up with. Well, there used to be a process where that final plat, after the developer did all the work, you have to come back to the very same process. Come to the site plan review committee, come to the planning board, go to city council. But we're gonna cut out that last half, okay? When the preliminary plat is the master plan, and it's got 100% engineered drawings with it, and we create a development agreement, we're gonna file a preliminary plat with the register of deeds. This permits the developer to build that stuff out to the plans we've all approved. And it's up to staff to make sure that that all gets built to the very same standard. Everything is built to a city standard of water lines, sewer lines, streets, etc. So we're gonna kind of cut out at the very end, we're gonna cut out a little bit of a process that seemed redundant and unnecessary from my standpoint. And I hope the council will agree, and we've just sort of shortened that process up. We're not cutting back on detail, we're keeping all the detail, but we're cutting back on bureaucracy and red tape. So that's the kind of the long and short of it with the subdivision stuff. If somebody had hardship meeting one of the standards for subdivision, they would still apply to the Board of Adjustment for a variance. So that's sort of specified in here more clearly than it was before, because actually that's what the state standards say as well. You need to have a relief valve, if you will. The relief valve in zoning is called a Board of Adjustment, where you all, 5 of you, acting as the Board of Adjustment here appeals to these kind of regulations, and you can provide reasonable relief if there's hardship. So we don't have too many of those, but it's always out there as a possibility when we can't do something someone feels like they need to be able to do. That's in here too. So, any questions about subdivision or any other parts of this ordinance?
I think this requires a public meeting also.
Yeah, you can just, the same thing with the public hearing part, just call for it or open it. I'm part of the public hearing too, and close it.
This time I'll call for a public hearing on the zoning ordinance amendments. Ask if anyone in the audience has anything to say, would like to address any of the issues as presented. Hearing none, then I'll close the public hearing and turn it back over to Mr. Geis to finish his presentation.
Okay, so then that's really everything with this ordinance. I did provide a draft motion, that someone could, if they felt they could make a motion and have us find a second, to move this along. We will, we have a few more of these to go, we'll try to combine some. As we wrap this up, we've got a few more standards. We went over that list last time with in the PowerPoint, we've got like a flood control kind of ordinance. We have, cell tower and a few other things that need to be kind of spelled out a little bit more clearly. And I think we'll be caught up with 160D.
If there's no more discussion or any questions or comments from the board, I'll call for a motion, yea or nay, on Appendix A, definitions, and Appendix B, subdivision, on CA 21-03.
I move to approve the amendments to Appendix A, definitions, and Appendix B, subdivisions undertaken to comply with the newly adopted 160D state statutes and find that they are consistent with the intent, land development plan, and that the ordinances will be kept current and consistent with the laws of North Carolina.
That motion was made by Mr. Keesler. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Beal. Calling for a vote. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, like sign. Record showing motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Glass.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda, the permit report.
I read all of it, and what stuff went into it, but yeah, it was long.
Thank you for your attention. I know it's a lot to digest. Then we have the permit report, March. The first value there is Harrell Construction. That's for Oak Hill, which is on the County Home Road. Herman Road at the top of there. It was a master plan community back in 08 or so. Everything was put in the ground. The streets were built, the parking area was built, sewer was constructed, water was put in their water meter boxes. The thing went bankrupt. Okay, the guy went bankrupt. So this multi-family townhome development has been sitting this period of time.
What was this again on Herman's side?
Herman's side at 6th Street.
Yeah, I'm back with that. Yes.
I think it's Newhall, right. Eric's gonna get some for us.
Was that like across from Indian Springs?
Yeah.
Like on the left side of Herman's?
That's not section.
Yeah, section.
Okay. Okay. I was gonna say, I live on Herman side, but not on Collins.
Okay. So,
One street off.
Gotcha.
anyway, so, the guy's been finishing out the single family lots for the last year or so, year and a half. And he came in several times to talk to me and Eric about just revamping the whole multifamily or townhome part, doing single family. Well, finally, we kind of reached 6 months or so. Finally, he's realized that there's a real market for townhome, and he's just gonna build it out exactly as master planned and sectioned out in the final plat. So he's gonna go to town. He's got about 75 units that were approved as townhomes. He started with the first 12, and that represents the 960,000. Check that out. He says, what did he tell me? He said, I'll be done in 6 months. And I'm like, 6 months? That's pretty quick. But everything's in the ground except the structure. So maybe he almost bet me, and I'm not really.
So they're going in that center section right there?
Yeah, this intersection, yeah. And the parking's already kind of in the back, and, everything's at the street, so, anyway, we're looking for 12 more townhomes, to need them.
Great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anything else? No?
Well, that's all I wanted to build.
Well, it's the first 12. He's got 75 or so to do. He's-
Rod more, I mean, you know,
He's got
Yeah.
like,
you can print them up.
he's got like 10 more 4-unit buildings and one more 6-unit building, I think, on that plat.
It's great. Good number. So that's what we need. We need more inventory here, housing inventory. Okay, and then I guess there's a new family home on Kane's Court. And, commercial wise, by the way, we have a few different things happening in the downtown area. We have The chocolate possum is up there, used to be a little salon up by maybe the dance place with the kind of reflective windows across from your dad's barber shop.
Okay.
And then,
Okay, let's back up. I saw that, what is a chocolate? What do they do? What is it?
I think she wants to do.
They are delicious. I just
It's a little bakery, a little dessert.
Yeah, she's got a little bakery proposal, and that little space can't be, it's not even as big as this room, but it's big enough for that kind of use. And,
There was an article in the Hickory paper, maybe Monday.
maybe it
Go
was
back and
today.
find online and read a little interview about her and her job, her business.
So Sherman wasn't lying, it is delicious.
You do anything in chocolate pretty much like this, right? You're gonna be okay. And then, Nick's Brands, is looking at the corner up here. We call it the Klein corner, you know, the old four little things on the corner here.
You go in Sucker Service Station, in the same place.
Sinclair, yes. And that's Brad Eisenhower. So he's looking at, moving his, kind of light manufacturing, but he does the bottling of the car materials, car products, car cleaning.
Waxes and stuff.
Yeah. Wants to have a retail space there, plus his product line goes there too, and renovating those buildings. So if he could really get that under control, that would be pretty amazing, because those buildings have sat vacant for a very long time.
First time in my lifetime that anything's been in there.
That's right, yeah.
For you.
This right here on the corner, right here.
It's right up front here, there's like 4 in a row.
Okay.
Are they like where it used to be a dump hole and then they halfway started remodeling it and then like it turned into more dump hole and a side hole?
Once there a restaurant there at one time, about 10, 15 years ago, I believe.
Restaurant?
I think it used to be like a
Happy's.
Happy's, yeah.
It's Happy's in here before.
Happy's Diner. That was Happy's when I started here in the 90s.
Yeah, there was a restaurant there. That's the last thing I really could remember.
Yeah, you're right, I remember. So I have to take back, I do remember the past. I have to take that back.
Sherman, you and I are getting a little.
Yes, sir.
So it's great to see that, and then, in the old Walt's Lock and Key, which is right next door to Joey Fulbright's place, a construction office has gone there. He's not gonna store anything outside, it's not for storage, but it's an office for his, he's building houses, so he needs a more local, for this red line construction, he needs a little more of a local office, so kind of glad to get, some of this downtown property filled up. It's been kind of filling up. I heard, that the mayor's house is, got a tenant coming, in there starting next month. Yeah. So I think they're pretty excited to get in there. And then, La Quinta Inn is on here. La Quinta Inn is because they have a new owner. So they may be reflagging that. Just so you know, they may reflag that from La Quinta to something else. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, we have a meeting. The owner says that he wants to change the top several floors to be suite style with kitchenettes. So they're gonna come in and do some remodeling.
So kind of probably like long-term stay kind of stuff. If you're moving to the area or you're kind of like.
That's really a good idea, I think, for that building, because it's not been successful in its current state for some time.
Right.
So change the face, let's do something different.
Yeah, let's try another product, and then maybe mix it up a little bit. And there's a couple of, there's a new little restaurant here that's gonna open up in the next week or so, keep an eye out. It's, Amazing Grace Mexican Restaurant, I think they call it. It's where, I don't know what it used to be.
Where Downtown Cafe.
Where downtown cafe was?
Yeah. So they should open up the next week or so, but then there's another, Mexican restaurant on Fairgrove Church Road in San Jose Atlan. And that's real close to La Quinta, just a little closer between La Quinta and Sheets. There's a little spot there, it says opening soon. Maybe a little Mexican restaurant, San Jose Atlan. And I'm not really sure what San Jose Atlan is, except it might be an area where this fellow's from in Mexico.
Well, that, and the guy opening Terraria Los Dorados apparently called Terry this afternoon, and I'm guessing he's serious, he wasn't pulling my leg, and they decided they're gonna call it DJ's Steak and Seafood instead.
DJ's Steak and Seafood?
Yeah, this is the second time on.
Well, that's changed.
different, format, or you get a different program. That's out there on the manual church road.
Do you choose steak and soup?
So that's
Is that right there where, is that?
That's the old,
Where it keeps her there?
Thinking of marketing.
that's the old double S, I think.
Huh?
Is it the old double S or is it the one that's?
Oh, the double is right there, okay, gotcha.
It's struggled, that property struggled, so I hope something works out there.
And what did you say one there, sorry?
It's really, Churcheria, Los Dorados, it's like BJ, what's it called again? RJ's,
DJ's Steak and Seafood. I think.
BJ's Steak and Seafood, change format. This Cinco de Mayo, let me show, me quote, is, on Conover Boulevard's an ice cream shop, doesn't sound like there, but that's what that is. The first one, that's okay, and then, I think that's it.
It's a heck of a name for an ice cream shop.
Yeah, La Micho Pana. So.
I can remember other delicious, but this one I offered.
Anyway, we had with Leadership of Tava, which is happening, happens through the chamber, and we did tours last week, of the manufacturing facilities, and we got to go to, Hayward over on Deborah Herman. So interesting. I think you were telling me that you all serve, help us on products there. That facility is so interesting. They've done he said about 2 million worth of upgrades, to the facility, new roof, dust collecting system, something over here.
They did a remodel for bathrooms and offices as well, I think.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful facility. They kind of did a combination, brought a facility out of High Point, brought it there, made room for it. And they're not fully staffed. They have actually openings there, like probably everybody else. Places, clean up. So interesting. So
They've done a lot of work.
a lot of work. So I was really happy to kind of tag along with the Leadership of Tava group, got to do a tour of that. So.
Did you ever look into maybe getting this group, we could go through manufacturing solutions, maybe from the COVID?
Yes. I'd love to have everybody go on that.
I think that would be a good tour, just,
Yeah.
your call whenever you feel like COVID and things like that.
They're going to break ground in the next, probably the next month and a half on the other MSC too. That we shared that. The bids came in, council approved the bid and all that last night. So big change over there towards Fifth Avenue.
Who's got the bid?
Matthews Construction. Yeah. Real close numbers, but they're excited to do it. I guess I said our next meeting is May 4th, Tuesday, May 4th.
All right, any other questions, comments before we adjourn? Entertain a motion to adjourn? Motion to close by Mr. Bill. So moved.
Thank you.
Later.
All right, Calvin.